Hello, this is a very quick look at the Android 5.1 toting Probox2 EX Plus. This is a streaming media box as well as an Android games console. Pretty basic design, really nice and clean. So you've got the power button on the top. You've got an external Wi-Fi antenna, and this just screws in, and that can be adjusted to make sure you get the best signal possible. Then around the back, you've got the usual slots for setting this up. Including HDMI and Ethernet, so if you don't want to use Wi-Fi, you can hardwire this in. The AV slot, it should be noted, is also where you can do a factory reset if something goes wrong. Then around the side, you've got a couple of USB ports, an OTG port, and a memory card slot if you want to expand the onboard memory. Now this comes with a wide variety of cables to get you set up, so you've got everything you need to get going, HDMI, cable, power, and also you get a couple of remotes. Now these remotes are quite interesting. The first one is basically a media remote, just a kind of standard remote, and that takes a couple of AAA batteries to power it, and that's great for use on the menus, which we'll come to in a second. And the second remote is a game remote. It's also an air mouse. Powering up, you simply press the button, that turns it on, and you're greeted with the nice large button menu display. Of course, being Android, I guess you could replace this with a different launcher, but I quite like this launcher. It does everything you need to do. It's got the various categories. You can then view more apps. If you see there's just some buttons along the top, and you can view all apps, and that's everything that's installed. You can also customize the menus. Now you'll notice here there's a 4K movie player app that I just moved past. I don't really know what that is. I don't have 4K content or a 4K TV, so I haven't been able to test that feature out. But what I do like is that the remote control works really well with this. You can see it just skips through the menus really quick and easy, and that allows you to select something like Kodi. Kodi also works well with the remote, and this version comes pre-installed with a load of add-ons that you may or may not want to use. Definitely worth exploring though if that's your kind of thing, and I think the interface works really well on the TV. If you prefer, you could use something like Plex ran fine. You do want to switch this away from the mobile layout to the TV layout. However, I still found the overall experience of using Kodi on this was slightly better than using the TV interface of Plex. So just going back to the menu, you can customize this. So if you go to favorites, for example, hit the plus key, and then you can select an app, and that just makes it a bit quicker and easier to get to. So in this case, we'll select Plex. Of course, this being a streaming box, you'll probably want to install Netflix, and Netflix works fine on this. So it's a great little streaming box. Again, you might say streaming, let's go to Netflix, press plus, and add Netflix. So that makes this a really quick and easy way of setting up the menus so you can get to the stuff you want to get to very quickly and easily without having to trawl through the massive all apps menu, especially when you've got a load of apps installed. That could be a bit annoying. The remote works really well on the main screen, but when it comes to the App Store itself, apart from basic navigation, it can be a little bit fiddly, and this is where a mouse comes in a lot more handy. Now, the main remote does have a mouse mode, but the main remote isn't an air mouse, so what you have to do is activate the mouse mode on the remote, and then you use the direction keys to actually move that around. And you see it's quite a slow process. Now, this is where the second remote comes in, and actually I'd be quite happy to probably just have this second remote. So this plugs in via USB. It's got a little USB dongle, and then it's got various modes, one of which is an air mouse, one of which is gamerpad mode. This is also powered by a couple of AAA batteries, and you can hold this either vertically or horizontally depending on the mode you're using this in. Now, one thing this does really well is then act as an air mouse, so you can see it's much easier to select things or maybe use the keyboard. You can of course plug in other peripherals if you do need to use a keyboard instead of using these two remotes. This box does run games really well. It's got a Cortex A9 CPU, and the game runs brilliantly, but the problem at the moment is that the remote doesn't actually work with games. So it took me a minute to figure out how to get going, and then there was no way on this particular racing game, Asphalt 8, to actually trigger the nitro. This was also a problem on other games. I found that the remote, which is really the feature that sets this apart, getting this gaming remote with this box and for the box to be able to run games this smoothly, this could be a great little gaming console, but it's really let down by the fact you can't actually play the games with the remote. So if you're looking for a basic streaming box, there are cheaper alternatives. Hopefully they'll get the software bug fixed, and you'll be able to use this for games as well as streaming. I hope you found this short review useful. Thanks for watching.